All right, welcome back. As we were talking about in the first video, that we are being entrepreneurs today and we are creating business plans for our ideas that we talked about in session 2 by using our interests and our skills to create a business that the community needs. So the first thing that we're going to do is look at our flyer again. And so you had the front page that we went through in video 1, but on the second page, you have all of these items that you're going to need. So the first part of it is actually coming up with your product that you're going to sell. And so I'm going to give you an option here. You can either follow along and watch me do it and then fill out your own at the end, or you can think about your own business while we're filling this out, but I'm going to fill it out with Ida Ideas items. So the first thing that we need to do is think about the product or service you are going to sell. Based on our interests that we found in session 2, we need to think about how we are going to use those interests to create a business. So we've said that maybe if you liked animals, you wanted to do a dog grooming service. So those are your ideas that you came up with. So what product or service are you going to sell? Ida is going to make tasty treats like cookies, and she's going to sell those to her neighbors. That was who her customers will be. So she sold to her neighbors. So now you could be thinking of, okay, who am I going to sell to? Am I going to sell to kids in my class? Am I going to sell to my parents' friends? Those are your thoughts that you are going to be thinking through for your own business plan. The next one, when will your product or service be ready? From our comic, we learned that she's going to start baking on the weekend, and so she will be relatively fast on making her product. Where will you get the money to start? Ida's parents are going to help her get started. So her parents are going to help her get the money to create her tasty treats. And so why is your business needed? This is what she thinks. Everyone likes a treat now and then. And so these are the 5 questions you should be asking yourself from our business plan 5 W's. And you should be thinking about all of the ones that you're going to use for your own business. And then you put at the bottom your business name. So she named hers Ida's Tasty Treats. Okay, so the next part of this is coming up with the startup costs. That was what Plan Man was saying, is you can't just start a business. You have to think about your startup costs, like your product that you're going to sell. What are you going to need to make those cookies? Do you need to have a baking sheet, eggs and flour and sugar? All of those things are part of your startup costs. And so what we're going to do is use Ida's for an example. And so you can follow along with me. And then at the end, you can fill in your own startup costs on your student flyer. So the first thing that she's going to need to create tasty treats, she said she's going to need flour. And she's going to buy 1 5-pound bag. And the item's cost is $2 per 5-pound bag. And so that would be a total of $2 that she's going to spend on flour. And you can easily look these up while you're figuring out your startup costs. So you can pause the video and then go over and see how much a bag of flour actually costs, or how much a laptop is going to cost if you're going to do computer programming. So think about all of those things when you are coming up with your own startup costs. The second supplies that she needs is sugar. She's also buying a 5-pound bag. That is $3. And so she is spending $3 on sugar. She needs a baking sheet to put the cookies on, and she's buying 2 of those. And so for item cost, 1 of those baking sheets is $10, and she's buying 2 of them. So we know that that's going to be a cost of $20. The next thing she needs to do is, you saw on the comic that show how made her a flyer. So she needs to have advertising. So she is buying 25 flyers that are 10 cents each for a total of $2.50. And so if you're stumped on how to find your total cost, it is the quantity of your items times the cost. So you'll take the quantity times the cost, and that's how you're figuring out that that was $2.50. The next thing, so we have other costs. So she's going to put bags around her cookies that she's selling. So she needs to buy little bags for her cookies. She's buying 10 bags to start. and those are also 10 cents. And so 10 cents times 10 is, if I had 10 dimes, I have $1. And so then what you'll do is you'll add up all of your total costs. So the total cost is $28.50. So that is Ida's startup costs. So she will have to ask her parents or whoever she is going to help her start up her business. She will need $28.50. So what you're going to do now is, if you are coming up with your own business plan, what are the startup costs that you're going to have? If you're going to do dog grooming, you're going to need shampoo, you're going to need clippers, you're going to need a brush. All of those things are your startup costs. Sometimes businesses start from things that you already have. And so you could easily start with some of those things that you might have around the house if you're kind of stumped. And so then the last part of this activity, what you're going to do is you're going to provide business information. And so your business information is going to be a description of your goods or your service, your business hours, and your customer description. So I'll read you what Ida has filled out for hers. So her description of her goods or her service is that they are homemade, tasty treats baked with a special ingredient and delivered fresh and delicious to your home each week. Her business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2. And her customer description is that Ida will sell her tasty treats to her neighbors. So I want you guys to spend however long it takes you to come up with your business plan. I want you to actually fill in the backside of your student flyer. And then for next week, that'll be very important for our next part of the activity. So make sure you keep your session 3 flyer with your activities and your plan for your business. And if you think that your business is ready to start, go ahead and try to start it. I'll see you guys all next week for our session 4. And thank you so much for joining us.